Welcome back to the broadcast of Your Next Move Grand Chess Tour here in Leuven, Belgium. We are about to begin round 5, the last round of today's rapid day. The pairings are nice, as we wanted to see this game, Nakamura-Carlsen especially. What do you think about that game, Jan, now that we have seen that Nakamura is not in his best shape and also Carlsen has just lost?
Yeah, I think he could have made quite some money by predicting that they would have, 2.5 out of 8 between the two of them going into the last round, the two big favorites and the two guys who dominated the Paris event. Still, there is a game to play and both sides have their beverages of choice in place. It's still, of course, the highlight of the day, even though, it's very, very surprising. You have two guys in Caruana and Topalov who are not considered to be specialists in faster time controls in the lead. And then you have Nakamura clear last and Magnus Carlsen on 50% after he lost that promising but very complicated position to Caruana a round ago.
Exactly, and also Vishiana has a very good tournament. He's got 5 out of 8. The only participant that wasn't there in Paris.
Yeah, Vichy played a rapid tournament in Lyon, so it's not like he didn't have any practice. And let's have a look at the opening of Nakamura-Carlsen. It is the so-called Ragozin, which Carlsen has played on and off quite a bit. And Nakamura recently has been experimenting, or employing, I'm not sure if experimenting, with his Queen A4 check, forcing the knight to C6, where it's standing in the way of the typical C5 break.
Yeah, we have seen some games in this line in Paris, and now it was a different variation as far as I can see.
Yeah, not sure. E3 castles, two main moves here are bishop d2 and queen c2. Nakamura went for queen c2. The queen has done her duty of forcing knight to c6. Doesn't have anything to do on a4, so it retreats. And there's many different approaches here. I guess the main line is takes, then go bishop d6 and push for an e5 break. But Magnus played rook e8, clearing the f8 square for the bishop, maybe hinting at e5 in certain lines. Nakamura reacts by unpinning, going bishop d2, keeping the tension for now and asking Magnus if he really doesn't want to take on c4 or if he's going to change his mind now. I guess he really doesn't want to. Maybe he wants to play bishop f8. a6 is another typical half-waiting move, controlling the b5 square. Magnus goes for immediate tension in the center, e5. Wow. Nakamura blitzes out d e5, so he's not unduly surprised by this. d e5, knight e5, and c d5
has been played as well.
I don't know this line. I should study a bit more theory again. I keep saying I'm not sure what's going on here. Sad. c d5, so you have to figure it out. Knight f3, gf. The problem is you can't go knight d5 because after knight d5, bishop d2, queen d2 protects the knight and you'd be pieced down. Therefore, Black has to do something else, and it looks like Magnus is also not booked up to the eyeballs here because he is taking time after this. Yeah, pretty normal reaction from Nakamura trying to grab a pawn.
What I can see from our database on Chess24 is that there's only one game in this position that has been played before between Smirnov and Del Rio, the Spanish Grandmaster. And that continued with, let me see, what is it?
I was thinking about this, but it looks a little dangerous after one
takes d5, knight f3, yeah, what you said, g takes, bishop takes c3, and then queen takes d5 was played in the Del Rio game.
Yeah, maybe that's a better move, because knight takes d5, long castles, does strike me as dangerous because of the pin, maybe even rook d1 instead of long castles in order to threaten e4 without queen g5 check. So Magnus, has opening problems to solve here while Hikaru is leaning back. That's bad news for the world champion, but of course he has a hunch of finding his way even when surprised in the opening. Still surprised because he goes for this very direct plan, which normally indicates home preparation, and
yeah, I believe they might know this position still because they are just trying to recall what they know. Or you don't think it's...
Knight takes d5, what am I missing? I thought you can capture this. It's a piece sacrifice. Queen takes d5, bishop takes b4, queen takes f3.
Is there something then with, I don't know, I don't understand it either.
Magnus, yeah, he's
Shaking
either
his
trying
head.
to recall things or he's
But
shaking his head
no,
because
he
he's
has-
blundered a piece.
He has
I don't
blundered. I think it was a blunder. He started shaking his head, and Magnus Carlsen is a piece down.
know. He looks extremely tired. I'm not sure if this, could this be homework? Queen f3 seems to be the only chance then, targeting the rook when rook g1. I
No,
don't see
Magnus
anything.
Carlsen completely disappointed about his play. He lost the previous game against Fabiano Caruana. He blundered, and now he has just blundered again.
Yeah, and Hikaru's looking at him like, what are you doing? Because rook e3 doesn't even work here. Fe, queen e3, queen e2. And if queen g1, queen e8 is checkmate. So,
Incredible.
yeah, people are tired. The schedule is really getting to the guys. Magnus, decides to
Played bishop
keep
f5,
playing.
tries his luck. Wish he did manage to save a game with a piece down, but this is just not normal. The world champion has blundered a piece.
No, this is just resigns, queen c5, or, any proper move. Queen c3 will also do the trick. It's just a clean piece down.
Oh my. I thought that he wanted to watch the football at 9, but he's not this much in a hurry.
No, this is, a very weird blackout by Magnus. We don't see it often. Maybe he was thinking about bishop c3 and knight d5 and mixed up the move order.
He must have mixed it up. It doesn't make sense that he just took on d5, forgetting about the bishop on b4. Sometimes it happens, you calculate a line and you play the second move of the line.
Yeah, but it's not normal. Of course, he
Yeah,
must be
definitely not.
affected by his last game against Fabiano. But this, I'm sure, is a very welcome gift for Hikaru Nakamura, who's had his own troubles on half out of 4. Now he's a piece up against the world champion once again. After 11 moves, White is totally winning. We see a lot of strange things here. Hikaru went for queen
Incredible.
e2.
Queen e2, queen e4, but this is unreal. Another
Oops, sorry.
piece blunder, this time by world champion Magnus Carlsen against Hikaru Nakamura, who was completely out of shape in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, bishop
Wow.
c3, I would guess. It is pretty much game over. He's trying to prolong the game a bit to not make it too embarrassing, but he has one pawn for the piece, and White is perfectly well coordinated, so it's absolutely hopeless unless, a
It
miracle
is.
happens.
That will mean that Magnus Carlsen drops down to -1 on the standings, and Hikaru will have, well, still -2, but climbing up the standings a bit, or improving his score at least.
Yeah, queen c4 on the board. Really doesn't matter. A piece at this level is just way too much. It is game over. I guess Hikaru is looking for a quick way to increase the pressure. Now queen e7, maybe once queen to d4, threatening checkmate, forcing f6,
And
then
Magnus
bishop
Carlsen
c4. He does resign.
This was just a horrible game by the world champion. We can't believe what happened.
Yeah, no, I can't explain it. Just a blackout, but also, the opening choice was strange to go for this e5 without being aware of the subtleties, because if you go for such a direct approach in a line that Hikaru has been employing constantly, you would think that Magnus is ready for it. But big win for Hikaru Nakamura. Let's look at the other games.
Yeah, after trying to digest this shock of Magnus Carlsen losing so easily.
Fabiano Caruana, our tournament leader, is playing Wesley So, who I never know his score. I'm always assuming it's 50% all draws. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah, I believe Wesley So has drawn all his games so far.
And Fabiano goes for this move Queen B3, which I think we've seen Kramnik employ once or twice. But let's see if Hikaru wants to
I think we
explain
might
to us
have
what
a
happened there.
guest and see what happened in this peculiar game between Hikaru Nakamura and Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah. We're now being joined by Hikaru Nakamura. Hikaru, welcome. What happened there?
Good to be
Was
here.
it
Magnus just blundered. I mean, I think probably he was calculating some lines. So if you go forward like 2 moves, like here instead of knight f3, I don't know. I mean, maybe Magnus was looking at lines with. I know there are lines with bishop g4, bishop e2, bishop takes f3, or things like this, and then some knight d5 later. but I think he just he was probably calculating something, and then he just mixed up the order and simply forgot that he dropped a piece. I mean,
so you think he wanted to take on c3 first after knight f3, g f3?
Yeah, I mean,
knight,
you can also do
c3.
this too. Yeah, bishop c3, knight d5, and it's okay. I think it's castles here, and it's a game. But I assume Magnus probably just miscalculated the order, or just it's been a long day. Everyone's definitely made mistakes today. So so it just happened.
Tough day for you. Does it feel a bit better after what happened now, or?
Yeah, it feels better. Obviously, the game against Kramnik was pretty stupid. Probably 85% of the time I just go a6, a5 instead of this b5 move, and I should draw quite easily. But that blunder happened. The real tragedy was, of course, the second game after I lost to Topolov from a much better position, if not winning. Out of the opening, then I just lost my mind against Anish. So. It'd be a bit nicer to have maybe an extra half point, like I probably should have. But, in Paris, I think with the exception of maybe one game against Magnus, literally everything broke my way. Like, all the games I was losing, I managed to draw. The games which I shouldn't have won, I won. So, it's going to happen that you have a bad day.
I think that you're getting some of that luck back that you might have dropped against Magnus.
Yeah, maybe. It's still only the first day, but yeah, to win, certainly, it makes the result feel a lot better than it would otherwise. It's quite nice.
What do you think was wrong in the first 3 rounds?
Well, the first one was this Kramnik game. Like I said, probably 85% of the time I play a5 without even thinking. But then during the game, for some reason I just thought the b pawn was fast enough. I just got careless, and then Vladimir after I made this inaccuracy with b5. He just played very precisely, and there's nothing I could have done. At least I don't think so. So that happened. But again, it all comes down to the second game, because this game against Veselin, this whole line, I'd prepared it before, and I knew that it was much better if not just winning. I don't know if you can bring that one up, because that's the more interesting game.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, like this f5 move in the opening. This position, I don't know if it's winning, but I know the computer gives it, as much better. It's probably +1 at least. So.
I'm curious about the position when the pawn is hanging on d3. So you had it all prepared, after.
Yeah. I looked at this. some time ago, of course.
And it was not possible to play queen e2. We were just discussing, and we asked Veselin if he saw something here, and he didn't know if there's something.
I think on queen e2 I just play queen d6 and rook e8. And I think it's just very, very dangerous. E4 is coming. I also maybe have some bishop. I think after king g1 there might be some line with rook e8 followed by bishop takes h3 and e4. I just know it's very dangerous. And the computer gives black a big advantage. So yeah. But then in the middle game, I kind of lost the thread, and then I just blundered it all away. So yeah. The Anish game we don't even need to talk about, because I was just losing my mind, kind of like Vladimir did after he lost to Veselin. So it happens. But that's the way it goes. But still, fortunately, it's only one day, so there are a few more days left, and maybe I can score some more points tomorrow.
The question we're asking everybody today is, do you have superstitions? If things don't go well, do you change your clothes, or do you change your
any objects, daily
pen
routine?
or something?
Well, yeah. I think in Paris, for example, I was wearing the same jeans the first 2 days, and the third day, which was the first day of Blitz, I wore a different pair of jeans, and then the last day I went back to black, because the first 2 days I played very well. And here I start off.
So you realized that those were
yeah. Here I start off with the same jeans that I did terribly today. So yeah, I won't be following the same trend, that's for sure.
Yeah, let's hope you
So
brought another
clothes.
pair for
if
tomorrow.
I had to say superstition, probably clothes, and that's about it.
All right, thanks a lot, Hikaru, and
Thank you
better
for
luck
joining
tomorrow.
us, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
So yeah, that was a weird
Game by
Magnus
Magnus
Carlsen
Carlsen.
blunder.
Yeah, it must be that, as Hikaru also said, he calculated a different variation, and then he played the second move of the same line that he wanted to play. Instead of capturing on c3, he went for the immediate knight takes d5.
But yeah, even in the other line, knight takes d5 is not very good. I really don't know what happened. He must just have been tired.
Maybe that's simply the reason. They're
Let's
all
see.
getting tired, it seems, except for Fabiano, who states that he's just fine.
Yeah, he's getting more awake with every game. But it's going to be hard to stop Wesley So's drawing streak. Let's see how he's doing on that front. But there's some games we haven't visited at all yet, so just a brief tour. Levin Aronian against MVL, knight b5, queen a5, knight d6. To my simplistic mind, this looks equal. I'm not sure if you can think about takes and then maybe f6 followed by e5. I don't really think there's any ways for white to pose problems. Ah yeah, MVL took and went e5 immediately, even better.
Yeah, and the pawn will drop on
I guess
d6
queen
unless we are
f5.
missing something. Queen f5.
And if you want to rook d6 with total equality. So yeah, this is fine for black. Kramnik, who has had 2 big blunders already, blundering a piece
And then
against
the rapid,
both.
not just as it was in Paris. He blundered a lot on the Blitz day, but in rapid chess, it's more surprising.
Yeah. Looks like he's avoided blunders so far. Theory debate against Anish Giri, as you typically get between those 2 big specialists. And typically, sadly, I once again don't know the line, so I'm going to have to go with the eye test. Speaking of the eye test, Lawrence Trent is walking by looking like pure eye candy, as always. But yeah, as for this position, it's the typical, the white structure is weakened, but his bishop on g2 is very, very strong. And we are now being joined by the manager of Fabiano Caruana, who's promised us earlier, my boy is going to do better now that I'm around, and he delivered so far. Lawrence, are you happy with Fabiano's performance?
Yeah. Oh, here I am. I'm on the big screen. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Can't complain. Can't complain. I'm just still a bit shocked about what just happened with Magnus, obviously.
Yeah.
I saw him come
all
up and he
went
just laughed and said, I got to get out of here. And I just probably never ever seen him do that, actually.
No,
Can't-
I'm also trying to recall such blunders from Magnus.
Yeah.
It didn't happen much.
No, I think the game against Fabiano was tough for him to stomach. And then he had to recover really, really quickly. He barely had 10 minutes to... And then if you're just fuzzy, then it can happen. So it can happen to the best of us, basically.
No, I thought Magnus might still be a comeback, because we both know he's dangerous, even a rook down, but that position was too simplified already, so like he couldn't get it done.
He would have played on against me, I think, that's for sure.
So how did you get Fabi to do so well? Is there any secrets you can
There
share
is.
with us? Like, did you give him a little pep talk, tell him,
Yeah.
I am a rock, repeat that 50 times, stuff like that? Or
Yeah.
how does it go? That is it.
Slightly more expletive than that, but it's basically, yeah, just...
I'm an island?
Yes. No, we just... I don't know, he just seems more relaxed here. I don't know why, he seems completely relaxed. And actually his game against Magnus was very, very good. Even though he was losing, in general I think the level was quite high. And Magnus played brilliantly. At some point he was outplaying Fabiano, but... Fabiano's sticky. I said this. He's a sticky guy. Even in his game against against Anish. I was
horrible
upstairs with
position,
everybody, and I said, I don't actually. I genuinely, hand on heart, didn't think he was going to lose that position, even though it was completely dead. I just said he's so sticky in these positions. He's horrible to play against. He finds a lot of resources, and I just felt like he wasn't going to
Just
lose.
brief language question, sticky means tenacious, right?
Yeah,
It's not
tenacious,
like literally
exactly.
sticky.
Yeah. And so when he drew against Anish, that was massive for him. And then he's played some good games in general. And what was impressive against his win against Magnus was the fact that he found rook e5 very quickly, and he only had 20 seconds
Shall
left.
we bring up that moment again? Because it was a
That was the
beautiful
key
moment.
Magnus started to stray with queen d7, and it was this exact moment where Fabiano had to play rook e5. And actually here he told me he thought he was winning, although objectively I think it's a draw. But rook f1.
Looks like he had to go here, but it's
so
already tough.
apparently Magnus dropped his rook on f2, or was about to play rook f2. And then at the very last minute played rook f3. So, no, it was obviously that was Fabiano's big piece of luck, because he was completely losing. And then obviously this is the sort of game that can change a tournament, basically. So, and the truth is I haven't really seen his position recently against
Let's
Anish.
check in with Fabi. By the way, we're looking for a nickname for him. People are yelling at me whenever I call him the Fabster. Do you have any suggestions that are acceptable?
I call him Fabianovic just to sort of give
Fabianovic?
him, give him sort of a kind of Russian, Russian-esque, education to him. Fabiano's way too Mediterranean and exotic for him to be good at chess. Do you know what I mean?
I understand.
Nobody ever called Fabiano won the world championship, but Fabianovic definitely was a very strong player back in the day.
Yeah. In Russian, I think they have these short forms of names, like
Right.
Alexander is Sasha, maybe Fabiano could be Fabsha or something.
Fabship might work. What's the position, though? I'm curious.
This is the position.
Let's see. So it's just a position, but to be honest, looks like Wesley's doing absolutely fine.
Wesley's very solid. He's drawn all his games. He's never in any particular trouble. I think Fabiano's trying to provoke e5 when at least his knight can get a little jumpy.
So probably Wesley, so his pawn, is it on pre?
I think you can go e5. Or maybe knight c4 is better.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want to go e5 here.
No, I agree.
So what will he do? Knight c7? Is that put a knight on e6 like that? Is that at all sensible?
Yeah, why not?
And the bishop?
Yeah, I know I have got a problem, but I can go bishop g4 first in some lines, then go knight e6. I don't know.
He's getting up.
He's getting up, confident.
Yeah,
No?
he's relaxed, already thinking about the football match tonight, maybe?
No, he's not thinking. That's exactly what he's not thinking about.
Maybe it was Magnus who was thinking about the football.
Magnus is probably going to watch the football, but no, Hikaru needed that win as well because he was struggling today.
Very.
Yeah, I've never
offbeat
seen him play
opening
this.
choice.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to get a random position.
Yeah, it's a line. I think Kramnik played it once or twice. It's not considered to be very dangerous because of d4, but it's just to get a game, I
Just to
guess.
get a game right.
So let's talk about you. What have you been up to recently?
I went to Shamkir with Fabiano, where he played pretty well, bar one game in the tournament, and then the playoff with Mamajarov was a bit of a disaster because he was winning pretty much every game and then either drew or lost that game. So the locals were happy, but obviously we were disappointed. But in general, he performed very well, gained a few rating points, equal first in the classical, so wasn't too bad. Then I had a short break, went to Cuba for a number of reasons. And Fabiano was here in Paris, well, not here, but in Paris, where things obviously didn't go that well, but he recovered really well, which was important. And
But you've seen what happened in Paris from afar from Cuba, and you decided, I'm quitting my vacation. I need to be by his side.
I didn't actually watch the games at all because internet out there is scarce. But I was in the lobby one day. I think it was the first day of the Rapid. Did they play 6 games there the first day? No, was it 5?
No, it was
5.
the same schedule.
It was a 5, but he lost 4. Did he lose 4 on the first day, or did he lose
He had
3?
like a half out of 7 stretch.
Yeah, somebody contacted me and said, have you seen what's going on? And at that point I hadn't, and I checked in and I was obviously very concerned, so had to find the nearest hotel with internet to just send him a message saying, please make sure there are no ropes in your room and no balconies in sight. It's going to be all right. And then we talked before the Blitz, and he came back really strong. Put a big winning streak together. And I said, well,
I know you're a humble guy. You wouldn't take credit for it,
No.
but let's face it. Without that conversation, he would have lost every Blitz game.
I only take 90% of the credit. I keep on saying
think
I
that's
don't
fair.
take the full.
Maybe 1
It's
2 draws.
maybe modest. No, he deserves all the credit. Fabiano's a very resilient guy. Very resilient guy. And now this game here, Kramnik Giri.
Yeah, this looks equal there.
This
Just
looks like a draw.
exchanging bunch of pawns.
Anything else interesting happening?
This also,
Okay, that's
in
not
spite of
interesting.
White's extra pawn, looks
It's an extra pawn.
like it should.
I don't know.
Actually.
E5's
There could be some
coming and
E5s,
it's...
MBL's going to have to work.
He's really going to have to work.
What else we got?
I see a suggestion by Jew Sharp for the nickname Fabinator.
The Fabinator, nah.
But,
This one here
I like
looks
Fab's
like
still
Vichy. I quite like Black's position, if I'm
Vichy
honest.
is fine, yeah. Space.
Yeah,
It's like
this
a reverse
B-pawn is the
Sicilian
issue.
where if you can get this in, then it's real torture. And
No, but also just tickling, like if you ever went Queen C5, which is a natural move here, you would immediately think about what happens after takes Rook B6. And suddenly you can't defend this pawn very comfortably, and it looks like Vichy's doing great, yeah. So no, there have been some really weird games. There was that round where Levon lost this rook ending against Magnus, which you would have thrown your house on that he would never lose that position.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then
many blunders and turnarounds that
Yeah.
came against. Levon, I thought, was a good effort by Magnus holding that together and even winning, but yeah. It's been a strange day.
That's it. But it's a great setting here. Big turnout. A lot of interesting characters in the crowd.
What are you doing? Are you addressing the crowd?
Yeah, I'm addressing the
We've
crowd.
been
I'm
pretending
just-
like they aren't there the whole day.
A lot of chess fans.
Yeah, it's the strongest ever tournament in Belgium, so
Is it the strongest ever? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. There was a Kasparov match against. I was against Nigel, so that would have brought the.
Well,
Do you
that
remember
was
when he played the Blitz
a
match?
show
against him?
event more of
Yeah.
it.
With
And didn't you
Nigel,
play an
with
IM
Nigel, it's
tournament
always a
in-
show event.
I thought you played an IM tournament in Belgium at one point.
Did I?
even that was the highlight of.
That's the highlight of my
I made it
career.
up, but like
Maybe.
so we
I
should
can't
list it.
remember. I don't think I did play in Belgium. Played in Denmark and played in Hamburg.
So let's continue our research of today. We ask everybody if they have any superstitions. I know you to be a very rational guy, so I figure probably not. Yeah?
The only superstition I have
Like, would
is
you change clothes if things aren't going well for Fabiano, stuff like that?
well, yes, because when I went to Cuba, I lost my luggage, so I actually couldn't change clothes that often through pure matter of fact. So the fact that I can change clothes now is quite a nice novelty in my life.
So did you get your luggage back, or
Yeah, they sent it. So it was in Istanbul for 2 weeks, but they finally sent it here, which is why I can finally wear,
Very nice.
for something nice. But I do. The only superstition I really have is the LP by Stevie Wonder. That's about it.
What superstition is
Stevie
it?
Wonder?
I think it's superstitious, but
You listen to it to
That's-
pick you up?
that's the name of the track.
Careful.
No, I'm not superstitious at all. I just believe in playing well. I don't believe in any of it. I don't think Fabiano believes in any of it. I know he wears the same shirt a lot, but that's just because he hasn't brought that many shirts with him.
Yeah, there's one thing for your managing to-do list, shirt shopping with Fab.
We do normally go. We have shopped before. The last time we were together, we went shopping, but he's got a particular size, so he needs his shirts tailor-made. He can't just go in and buy a small or a medium.
I guess they have the same problem with Anish Giri, and we were discussing who would weigh less, if it's Anish or.
No, Anish
Fabi.
weighs less for sure. I think.
I'm winning.
I think Anish weighs less, but they are both very good chess players. This is very boring. This game here, really.
Maybe
This one is
This is the exciting
probably
one.
the most interesting, actually. He managed to provoke e5. So now the thing is, I think. So he's kind of. I quite like how Fabiano's playing here, actually.
It's very complex, there's many jumps, but I think he's done well. He's stopped b6 because there's too much pressure on c6, and he wants to bring
So
down
why
the
can't
light
I go knight a4, for example?
Sorry, knight h2?
Knight a4.
Oh,
Knight
knight
from
ac4. Yeah, I was even thinking about knight dc4, but yeah, you could also try to...
Well, just because I'm
Force
hitting.
one, huh?
Yeah. Apart from that, and also in some lines, I am just going to take on a7, like a big greedy guy. So I quite like. So it's Fabiano's move. Where did Wesley just play?
He played knight c7, that's a good
He
move,
went
of
back,
course. Had it
yeah.
for b5, c3, and also
Yeah.
stabilizing.
That's.
He's a tough customer.
So knight c4, knight b5, knight e4. Because if you go bishop f8, now I go queen b3 and it stops f5. Well, maybe it doesn't actually, but maybe you can go f5 anyway. That's very tricky.
No, it's a complex position.
Yeah.
Now, in these encounters between Fabiano and Hikaru and also Wesley, is there an added US angle? Is that an important thing for you guys, or do you think there are?
Not really, if I'm totally honest. Just no, it's just important for him to get off to a really good start, because after what happened in Paris, having a repeat was just not really an option. So he's just put the tournament behind him, and it's clear even though he's had a couple of dodgy positions already, I think everybody at some point has their stroke of luck, but he's managed to come through. So what happened? So knight, what's the...
Queen c2 that
What did he
played?
played knight e4, bishop f8, yeah? This is the position, right?
This is the position. Queen to c2 has been executed.
Queen to c2. So why not queen? Well, queen b3 was getting hit by bishop e6. This was the reason. Yeah, black suffers from...
Knight d5 on the board.
Knight d5. Yeah. And now probably he's just going to...
He wants f5.
I'm not sure he wants f5.
Well, you want that square, no?
Yeah, but let's say I go a3, f5, knight d2. Yeah, knight c3. I mean, even there I can go knight b1.
You gonna go here?
Yeah. And you play f5, but you always know that it kind of leaves you a bit open. There are a lot of tricks.
No, but I believe that even if I go bishop e6 here, let's say that here black should be doing all
Yeah,
right.
black's all right. Yeah.
Space.
No, I agree. I don't think this is anything. But you know, you can start tickling this pawn on e5, knight ac4. Yeah. No, now black's consolidated. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. It feels like Wesley's doing fine.
Played queen d2.
Queen d2.
I guess
And
that
once again goes for a
means
walk.
he wants to jump. Should f5 happen? Well, yeah.
He's very calm.
Oh, that's quite an interesting line, that after bishop d6, do you think he wants to go bishop takes d5 check?
I'm not sure. I think just cd, because h6 is also hanging. You can still do it.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that if I include, well, yeah, maybe I
Doesn't
don't.
run away is what I'm saying.
No, because yeah, obviously if king h7, then I can take, go rook c7, and
Yeah.
that starts to get. Actually, that starts to be very unpleasant, I think. 'Cause knight b7. Actually, that might
that
just be
bishop-
winning. Actually,
Yeah.
Bishop
off.
f5 he has played, if I can
Bishop
see.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's normal. No, I expect him to go a3 actually and just rock.
No, I don't think you can allow bishop e4 knight c3. Or maybe you have
No?
to. I wouldn't like to. Can
You
go
think
knight
he's going to
d6?
hop in anyway? Maybe.
Maybe not though. This is just okay.
Yeah, but the pawn on b4 at the end, right? No, I think he'll go a3. I think he'll go e3. Because also after bishop e4, you might be able to consider d takes e4 in some lines. Because then, even after knight c3, you've always got e3 ideas, and I'm not sure about now, but even let's say I go, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I can even go e3 now, no? Or is this looking a bit shaky?
Looks a bit shady to me, like this bishop.
Bit too much?
I don't know. Not a fan. We'll see how it goes, though. But yeah, here.
What about the other games? Anything else happening? Or are they all...
Something has to be happening, but
Aronian's games seem
this
to
one
be
is, yeah.
somewhat
This is quite
interesting.
interesting.
And
Let's-
Topalov Anand as well,
yeah,
yes.
Topalov, surprise, almost co-leader, 5 out of 8 so far. Seems to be enjoying himself here, and yeah, he was on the receiving end of some of the blunders, or on the lucky end by Kramnik and arguably Nakamura. But yeah, you
But on
need
the
to
last
pick
day
up the
of
points if
Paris
you get
Grand
them.
Chess Tour, he was already in a better shape, and now he's just really enjoying chess, as you mentioned.
I think he's seriously considering just taking on c4 here.
Sure. What do you take?
Yeah. Oh, any rook b3, rook c5. Yeah. Knight jumps into some.
Yeah, rook
If you
B3,
can
I'm not
throw
sure, 'cause I
c5
have
in,
C5,
yeah.
bishop c4, but maybe rook to c5.
Rook c5 is.
It's double-edged. White is going to try to make something happen on the king side, but nice certainly play. But I don't think Vichy's going to take. I think Vichy-
Maybe he won't because he'll keep his option open.
We'll see. Let's look at
Aronian Vachier also seems to
Yeah.
be
this
Oh,
one.
well.
Is it over?
just the pawn up, but still up with
no,
the
that's-
No, this
up
is.
with other bishops and
I don't know. I don't know how much suffering this is, but
Should
Could
be
be.
tenable, but it's not going to be fun, and you just
no,
keep
it could
playing.
be serious suffering here for MVL.
Absolutely, and Kramnagiri looks like they're running out of. I thought it was black to move, and Queen A8 would cost the rook, but I don't think that's the case. It's white to move. That should just be equal. Can you do something? Nah. Nah, but black is too solid.
Yeah.
Should end peacefully. So, Lawrence, how about your own chess career? Do you play chess, or are you done?
Semi-done.
Semi-done.
Semi-retired. I play from time to time.
Any tournaments coming up?
No tournaments coming up. The next game I have planned is the second Bundesliga league. We're not in the Bundesliga anymore. We got relegated.
Sorry.
So I'm playing one game in October. That's the next game. That's fine. I was talking about this to Peter Heine Nielsen, Magnus's coach, and it's a very stressful game when you're not particularly good at chess, and even when you're very good, it's very stressful. But I find myself not particularly at ease at the board, so I prefer watching, talking about it.
Maybe Fabiano can give you a pep talk. He seems to be very at ease when
Yeah,
playing.
he's very good.
Do you think
I'm
that's-
sure I'd be very at ease if I was 2800 as well.
Maybe. So I'm sure you have duties like finding a restaurant and organizing the after-game massage and so on. So we won't keep you.
No, I do the massage,
Oh, you do it personally.
Yeah.
Okay. but
and I'm also the cook.
Yeah, you need to find your Barry White CD and
No, I've got
scented
that.
candles. stuff
I'm
like
also
that.
the DJ.
I see. I see.
No, yeah. If this is your kind way of telling me to leave the premises, I will do that.
Thanks
But
a
I
lot,
will
Lawrence.
drop in again
Please do.
tomorrow.
Thank you for
Hopefully
joining us.
we
Let's
can.
have a last look at Fabi's game.
Yeah, let's have one last look, then I'll leave the building.
Oh, did this happen?
Ooh,
Oh, I thought this is so horribly positionally. Only Lawrence would
I
suggest it.
I'll tell you.
Lawrence
I
has
predict
just
it's
guessed
so
all
weird. I predict so many of his moves now. It's so weird, but
You are so much in sync. You think the same way.
yeah. But the thing is, it could be terrible, right? So I'm not sure whether it's good or bad. I don't know.
No, I'm also not sure. If you, in a perfect world, you get an ED, F4,
But I
F5. That's a
Yeah,
weakness,
but I
I'm
think
not
the
sure.
thing is,
Yeah.
I think what Fabiano wants to do is he wants to he just wants to keep the tension there. So he might even just flick in like King H1 to avoid all kinds of ED4, E4, and Knight E2 checks at the end, and go F4, and he's not on the long diagonal, and basically saying to Wesley, well, you actually have to find a move here. So if Wesley plays, it's actually Fabiano's move right now. What did Wesley do here?
It is his move.
It's
Knight
white to move.
C3 was the last move.
I don't know how he won the tempo. Bishop
So
F5.
he won a tempo
He started
compare.
with E3, and
Ah.
Wesley took.
So it must be really bad if Wesley was happy to go. No, I think Fabiano will go. I think he'll go King H1. That's my prediction.
Maybe.
Or
Deep.
of course he can go Knight C4, but the problem with Knight C4 is that somehow you have to be careful. Black can't go b5 and or b6. B6 might. Sorry, b6. No, but this one there's 92 check at the end. That's in some lines.
I saw that actually.
So you want to go queen c3, yeah? But I mean, even here, let's say I played 92 check. I know it's a pawn, but sometimes. But that's why. But b5 might be really bad. So if you go back and just go b6.
Yeah.
And then the structure's kind of falling apart. So he won't do that. He'll keep the knight on a5. And maybe he won't go king h1. Maybe he'll play some other move probably. King h1 might be a bit slow.
He's played knight b3.
Now that makes a lot more sense. So they're playing at quite a pace now. So what's going on?
Knight b3, bishop g7, ed, ed.
Yeah. What does he want
I
to do?
guess
Just
the
go
plan is
queen
just to
d3 and just
play
rock up?
positionally, queen d3, f4.
Yeah, this could be a bit unpleasant if you get f4 and e5 in. So still a lot of results. But actually his results against Wesley have been fantastic in this tour. Against Wesley and Topalov. So
Yeah.
all right, I'll leave you now.
Thanks
Thanks
a lot.
very
Thank
much,
you for
guys.
joining us,
International Master
Lawrence.
Lawrence
Thank
Trent.
you.
Manager Fabiano Caruana, manager, cook, and everything. of
Entrepreneur,
Fabiano.
this guy wears so many hats,
Exactly.
but you wouldn't believe it. So that gives us a chance to conclude a brief tour through the other games. Vishy Anand is trying to grab that b2 pawn, and can he be stopped? Looks like
Doesn't seem like
Veselin
easy
decided
to
not
stop
to even
rook
try.
takes b2.
When bishop g4, when worst case scenario, you can just take and then take here. Or, the point is,
What is
let's
his
say
point?
hg, rook b2, there's e5, and if the knight moves, there's knight
Knight
c4.
c4.
Okay,
Sure.
so it's not that simple yet.
Actually, the bishop g4 is very clever. Removing that bishop.
And Vishy found a
played
clever
bishop
reply.
a2, is that?
Keeping this bishop, and
wants to
the
grab
next
the
move
pawn.
is this. I guess Veselin's going to go for some compensation with f4, rook b2, e5. Nonetheless, messy position, but of course, pawn is a pawn. And I don't know, queen a5 or even knight b5, intending knight c3 all look fairly promising for Vishy here. Of course, in case you're just tuning in, first of all, what have you been doing all day? And secondly, you missed that Magnus Carlsen
Let's blunder the piece.
has blundered a piece very out of character. Knight d5, just knight takes d5, bishop d2, queen d2, or queen d5. This is what happened in the game, bishop b4.
It must
three
be
signs.
the case that he calculated the variation with bishop takes c3 and he just simply played the second move of the line.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that theory because this also seems to be bad, like rook d1 or long castles. And it also looks fairly unpleasant, but
Yeah, but
maybe... yeah,
playable
that's
and it's
probably-
not a piece down, so you might survive here.
No, of course, maybe that's what he had in mind, but it's not been a good day for the world champion. He finishes on -1, even worse for Hikaru Nakamura on -2, but of course this is a nice consolation prize for him, or nice way to finish the day, let's say. Tournament is far from over.
Aronian still has a pawn up.
Aronian is
Really?
trying to chip away with his extra pawn at the moment too, but e4 is going to disappear.
And these double G pawns are not very promising.
No, it should be closer to a draw than to a win, but he's certainly going to keep trying for a bit. Kramnik-Giri. Oh, Kramnik managed to somehow end up with an extra pawn. Still supposed to be a draw if the rook goes to a2, but now you can try.
And he will definitely try.
Kramnik likes endgames with an extra pawn. So how did Anish end up in trouble here? He just... it
But
was
look,
just
that
queen
rook
a5,
takes
which I missed, of
C7.
course. Yeah, just picking up the pawn. Oh. So some work left to do for Anish in order to survive this position.
Anything else going on?
I don't know. I believe we should go back to Fabiano.
Yeah, this seems to be the most exciting game of the round, besides the blunder of Magnus Carlsen, whom unfortunately we could not interview today.
Yeah, I don't think this is his favorite interview day. Maybe tomorrow if things pick up, we shall find out.
Yeah, he was doing fine at the beginning of the event, but in the last 2 games he collapsed.
This position is very, very complicated. Way too complicated for me. I'd be tempted to go after this pawn, but not sure maybe black can just ignore everything and play e4.
Nice center pawns.
Yeah, no, you can't let those live. Something along those lines, but it's extremely double-edged, and I feel bad blundering both of these guys' pieces. What else? e6 looks wrong, just f5. Yeah, it's complicated. With opposite color bishops, it's so important to get some kind of initiative going. That's why queen d3.
I like your move.
Looks
I
like
like this way of exploiting the weakness on g6 and then trying to build up queen bishop battery.
yeah, fe is also an option here. I don't know. Fabiano should figure it out. He said he's not going to be tired in round number 5. Therefore, that should give him an edge, even though Wesley, as you mentioned, also never really looks tired. He looks a bit tired,
looks
though.
the same. Yeah, now he seems to be a bit tired. And I also think that Fabiano must be somewhat tired. They started the event at 2, so they have been playing almost non-stop for plenty of hours. This is going to be 9 o'clock soon here in Belgium, so I believe if we do the maths, that's going to be 7 hours of chess.
Yeah, tomorrow it's only quote-unquote 4 rounds, so it's only going to be 5.5 hours. But there is a lot of chess in these 4 days, because after the 9 rounds of Rapid, it's also going to be 18 rounds of Blitz on, I never know what day it is, Sunday and Monday?
Yes, Sunday and Monday, even more action, faster rhythm, and more blunders. Also, in this Rapid, today we have seen how many blunders, actually?
I'm not counting, but yeah, there's been
At least 5, I think.
surprisingly big amount.
For Rapid chess, that's a lot in 5 rounds. So for the Blitz, we can expect a lot more.
Yeah, Fabiano's gone with knight a5. He's trying to reshuffle this knight into d6.
He's been there already on a5, now he's going back, getting to d6. That would be a nice outpost for the knight.
Really struggle suggesting sensible moves. I'd like to go queen f7, but I'm not sure if it makes any sense.
What were you considering?
I'm still considering queen f7, but I can't really make up my mind if I like this position, for example. No, I think black is fine here. Rook e8 or rook f8.
He has played something, I can't see it
He's
from
just
the
played
battle.
king h7. Taking a bit of a timeout to safeguard the h6 pawn. Well, what does he want after knight c4 is the big question.
Maybe he's not worried about knight e6, but I would be worried about it.
I guess he wants h5 and bishop h6, try to activate his own bishop.
Could be. Fabiano will play knight c4, at least he was about to touch the knight. Now he started thinking again.
Don't keep us waiting, Fabiano. Yeah. Way too complicated. Let's see how Vichy is doing. Vichy is doing well, that much.
So what
Is
happened after
revealed
bishop
by the eye test.
a2 in this position?
Rook e1, rook b2, e5, knight b5. Yeah, this along the lines of what was expected.
Yeah, he grabbed the
I think
pawn,
Vichy is more or less winning.
and the knight on c3 is fine as well.
Looks pretty grim for Veselin Topalov, because this rook is kind of cut out of the game. And yeah, doesn't seem like there's any obvious way to activate it, so no, this is going to end badly for Veselin, barring a miracle.
The leader of the event, Veselin Topalov, well, the clear leader is Fabiano Caruana, clear leader if we can call it that way. After 4 rounds only, but Caruana has 6 out of 8, and then Topalov and Anand 5 out of 8. So this victory could mean a lot for Vishy getting ahead of Topalov.
Yeah, still, I don't know how many rounds to play, but it's always nice also to end the day on a victory.
Yeah,
You can
including
go
this
enjoy
one.
dinner.
Well, this one and 4 more are there to play. And Magnus Carlsen, we can already see in the standings that he is on a -1 score, 4 points out of 10. What has been played there? E6, sorry. Topalov has just played E6. Does it change anything? Trying to
Probably changes the pawns.
mess things up. It's a good idea to complicate matters when you're in an inferior position, but does it mean any trouble
he
here?
wants 25, but
Threatening bishop e6 and also rook takes c5. So how shall you parry all these threats?
not sure how much of a threat bishop e6.
Yeah, maybe I'm just pinning myself
Yes.
with bishop takes e6, but rook takes c5 is a move
Yeah,
I would
it's
like to
more
play
worrisome.
to activate the rook.
Fe is on the board. Queen e5 looks like the obvious follow-up. Topalov taking his time here.
Queen e5 has been played already? Or
No, I don't
I
think
know
so.
he hasn't. Yeah, the queen is still on f4. I don't understand why is he thinking. He pushed e6. Is there any other option here? King
No, rook e5,
h2?
king h2. Wow, that's very slow.
That's very deep. He has just pushed e6, giving up this pawn, and then king h2.
No, I believe what happened is his intention was to go queen e5, but then he got
Realized
annoyed
rook
about rook b1
b1.
when you can't take on c5, and if you take here now, queen takes king h2.
And the
And black
d3
doesn't
pawn. Oh, just b6. I thought he wanted to grab the pawn on
Might also
d3,
be
but
good,
why
yeah.
not?
But
Yeah, why
if
to
you
be in a
can
rush?
keep this rook boxed in, this is fairly
Oh,
hopeless.
definitely. It's like you are winning the rook after queen takes d3.
Yeah, and therefore he probably changed his mind when king h2 and is hoping to get in rook e5 or queen e5 next move. But not sure if he's going to have all that time. Like, queen anywhere, queen c6, queen e5, once again b6. Am I blundering things? I probably am. Ah yeah, blunder. Queen takes d4. That's cute.
Nice. There's no rook takes c6 also because of the back rank, and we could take on c3, but queen d8 after rook takes e6 wins. So what happened there?
The wise computer says, I blundered this, rook f2 is just winning instantly. Yeah, that makes things a little easier. Let's see what happened in the game. Queen c6 has been played by Vishy apparently, and probably Topalov will not blunder his f2 pawn like that, but try something else. Still, I believe it's
But
an
this is
uphill
just
battle.
a horrible position. 2 pawns down, and also this rook on c4 is trapped.
Yeah, you gotta do something, so probably rook e5 since queen e5 doesn't work targeting this dude. And b6 once again might run into queen takes d4, same trick.
So rook e5, knight d5. He played something else. Is that bishop f3?
That is bishop f3. I guess that's too slow. I was also releasing the pressure from the e6 pawn. So queen c8 keeps control of everything. Next move b6. And it's pretty much resigns. Like,
Seems to be hopeless for Vasily Topalov. We see a draw between Aronian and Vachier. Aronian had a pawn up, but it wasn't easy to convert it into a full point with opposite colored bishops on the board.
nah, yeah, no surprise there. MVL defended well. Vishy's gonna win this. He just played queen c8, and yeah, just one more move b6. Kills his rook off, and
Yeah.
there's just nothing to do.
What about Fabi's position? Because it was really exciting before. Rook e1 has just been played. Wow, it has changed a lot. And I think we will have some guests, as far as I can tell. We will be joined by Levon Aronian and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave to talk about their game, as far as I can see.
Not sure if they can both fit on that little chair,
Yeah, we
but
have
they're
two
very
chairs.
welcome.
Yeah, we have two chairs. I think we will grab another one and let them join the show. Is that correct? I believe we will have them soon here live talking about their games unless they disappear before that. So yeah, we should be very quick. We might have missed our chance.
Yeah, Topalov might have missed a chance too because now his position looks fairly hopeless after b6. The tactical point is bishop g4, for example. But there's other options, queen b8, and this pin forces off the queens, which make the position pretty much resigns. So you can't do that. Does Kramnik have any winning chances?
Well, doesn't seem like what he will still try. That is for sure.
Yeah, it should be a draw objectively with these targets. Normally black's counterplay is fast enough. Check, king e5, a4 would be a bit of a mistake because of rook c3, and it wouldn't be the first time this happens to Kramnik. So he better be careful because he's played rook f4, king e5.
And you should be careful about these pawn up positions. You are pushing too hard, you blunder a rook. That can happen.
Yeah. So he'd probably, if he manages to avoid that blunder, he's going to go rook e4, check, king f5, and now e4. And around such positions are draws. Like, in order to win, you need your king's help, and while the king walks all the way over, black picks up these pawns. So not a whole lot to do there.
I think we should go back to Caruana's game because it's somewhat more exciting than this rook end game.
Yep.
So
Here we are.
what happened before? Because we did like his position as white, but now
We've seen this h4, I'm not sure, might have been a little slow.
we were
I'm very
expecting knight
surprised.
c4.
Was met by h5. Bishop e5, knight c4, queen g7. Bunch of simplifications. I can't count very well. Is black a pawn up? Black is a pawn up, right?
Yeah, he is. But I don't understand. h4, it doesn't prevent h5.
That is correct.
So why not knight c4 in that case?
I do not know. Maybe even Fabiano is tired. h4 probably wanted to stop queen g5, but I'm not sure how much of a threat that was.
I don't know. He must have missed something because he was about to touch the knight on a5 after king h7, and then he changed his mind.
Yeah, maybe he thought h4 was clever, but I believe Wesley missed a chance here
Maybe too clever.
to go for this. Yeah, in the position they currently have on the board, Fabiano is worse, I would guess, but there's still some hope if he activates his bishop and somehow gets his pieces rolling. But he is a pawn down, and you always got to keep an eye on this d4 pawn. If it ever gets to d3, it's going to be very hard to stop him from queening. So Wesley remains solid. Oh, they made some more moves. Wesley grabbed another pawn, apparently. King
Another
g7,
one.
king h2,
So-
and he took. Very greedy, but it seems to be nothing wrong with it. What's going on? Vishy's game is over.
Vishy Anand must have won that position because, as you said, this c4 rook is just trapped on c4, and also there are a few pawns up.
Yeah, Vishy
Yeah,
won,
Vishy
looked like
has
a very
won.
nice game.
He joins Fabiano Caruana in the lead if Fabiano manages to draw his game. So he needs at least a draw to keep the first place, at least after these 5 rounds of the rapid.
Yeah, these 2 pawns down, he better make something happen fast. It's not
What
obvious
did
to
he
me.
do after knight takes a2? What
Played
if,
rook a1.
and if knight takes b4? Grabbing everything you can?
Yeah, I guess queen b3. Compy says a5, rook a5, d3, but that's already complicated. Trying to
Yeah, is there
queen this
a
pawn.
more human way of playing that position?
I don't know, it's d3 immediately maybe, but that runs into rook f1. Wow, complicated. That'd be a bit of a mistake, because now after queen d4, all of a sudden, this is computer stuff, as you can probably tell, but all of a sudden the black pieces get overloaded. So there's still resources for Fabiano. He's once again trying to mix it. Objectively, he's lost if Wesley manages to find this idea, which I wouldn't think is impossible. It's quite logical. Queen b4, d2 would be
He's
unpleasant
down.
news for Fabiano.
He's only got a minute and a half, so that's not much time to calculate all this. Do you think he will play a5?
I don't know, but he's a very sharp tactician. Wouldn't be surprised. He does look half asleep, but
Yeah,
there he goes.
a5 on the board, best
Can't
move
trick him.
of the computer, and played with just a minute on the clock.
Yeah, Fabiano might have overdone the risk-taking here. He really wanted to win that one. But now, well, if you can't go rook a5, you're just a bunch of pawns down. And this kind of counterplay doesn't really do anything. The queen just stays on e7 with the knight covered.
Unfortunately for Fabianovic, since his manager left us, his position has just worsened all the time.
Yeah, he's
Where's
calculating.
Lawrence to blame? Where is Lawrence?
The key line, of course, is this queen takes b7. Still gotta be careful, because
It
king
doesn't seem
h8,
to
for
be
example,
that clear.
some problems. So you gotta go to f8, and apparently everything is under control. Rook a7, you just queen. All these squares are covered, and the extra queen should eventually prevail. Now, looks like So is in great shape. Let's see if Vladimir Kramnik made any progress. Not really. Nah, it's just a draw. You can take on h5, but then let's say rook a2 check, king anywhere. Rook takes a4. This is just a dead draw. So he's gone back to b4.
I think
King
we
e5,
should
king g2.
stick to Caruana so because they have played a few more moves.
Yeah, his line is on the board. Rook a5, d3. Position hasn't
Rook
changed.
a7 was
Rook
played.
a7, d2. So I'm not sure what Fabiano wants. Queen takes b4. Transposes to the line we've seen earlier.
Yeah,
Rook
d2 is
b7,
on the
king
board.
f8.
Rook takes b7 check, and after king f8, cannot stop the pawn. d1 promotes.
Well, you can go queen d1, but that should not stop him from very long. For example, knight c2, intending knight to e3. And yeah,
Maybe
this
he wants
pawn is
bishop
too powerful.
f3, but that cannot be the move.
Maybe.
Because it just looks bad, but you know, he played something as queen e3, threatening queen takes h6.
He's trying to create enough confusion. And yeah, this is tricky because d1, queen h6, let's say king e8, queen e3 check, seems to be a perpetual, or the king goes here, queen h7, and at least this is a perpetual. So in order to win, Wesley would have to take a timeout and now play g5. Let's check the compy. Yeah, g5 seems to be strong.
I think Vasily is about to promote his pawn d1 queen, not
That
caring
allows a
about
perpetual.
queen takes h6.
That's a bit of a break for Fabiano. Maybe he
King
missed
e8.
that the queen. Yeah, that's logical, but I think he missed that the queen can return to e3, which you're more concerned about here.
Yeah, I also missed it.
It's everything covered, but queen e3 back is just a perpetual.
Wow. But he did not have much time to think about the position. Was down a minute. And it seems like Fabiano survives this losing position.
No, but he doesn't go for
he
it.
plays on.
He either wants to win or he missed queen e3, or both.
How is it possible to miss it?
Well, queen retreats are normally a
We
particularly different brand of
don't-
moves to spot.
Understand anything what's going on here? First, Wesley So missed the perpetual, then Fabiano does not execute the perpetual.
I think Fabiano wants to win. He's gambling, like, he thinks it's time travel, everybody's tired, king is weak. Let's see. Wesley does look like he could fall asleep any minute, which would be dangerous. He only has 18 seconds, so if you fall asleep, you have to wake up real fast. But no, there he goes. He's played something. Queen d2 or a move like that, I would guess. Not sure what he did. Yeah, queen d2 it looks like.
And if rook e4, he wants to go.
He doesn't care. King f7 and if rook f4, he's happy to give up one of his many queens.
Queen h7, king f8 on the board.
Yeah, it's waiting for black. Black does have an extra queen there, more powerful than bishops. But
No more checks for Fabiano.
yeah, Fabiano might realize he
Played queen c7.
has overdone it a bit. This allows this, for example. If we're tired
I
of all
think
these extra queens,
it was played. Wesley So has sacrificed one of his queens
checkmate, yeah.
to checkmate Fabiano Caruana.
yeah, strange miss there, but yeah. Queen e3 is a tough move because the queen is so aggressively placed and to just go back. But there was the saving grace. And king f8, queen h6, king g8, queen h7, followed by queen h6, king e8, queen e3.
It's
is a
incredible
perpetual.
they both missed to see queen e3.
Yeah,
And the idea of rook b4 is the same, to give a check from the e file.
well, they're tired and human, so these things do happen. Good day for Wesley, so we believe 4 draws and now win against Fabiano.
Yeah, he's on +1, and Fabiano just remains on 6 out of 10. Well, he's still second. Of course, he was leading now. Vishy Anand is the leader with 7 out of 10. But there will be 4 more rounds of rapid play, so this isn't over at all. And then we have 18 rounds of blitz on Sunday and Monday.
A lot of action still to come. The only action we're left with today is Kramnik against Giri. A drawn rook endgame, but Kramnik has an extra pawn and the moral right and obligation to try to make something happen.
I
Looks
think
like
he
they've-
also wants us to stay here for an hour more and miss Spain playing.
Yeah, I don't care about Spain playing, but I would
I
like
do
food.
care.
Rook e4, king
I
f5,
do care.
and there is very little to do. I believe this position is on the board. Yeah, that's just no winning plan for white. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kramnik does decide to call it a day
Let's
pretty
hope.
soon.
Let's hope for the sake of everybody. Jan's hunger and my keen on watching Spain, Turkey. So if this is a draw, that will mean that Vishy Anand, as we said, will be the leader, 7 out of 10. Then 6 points for Caruana and Wesley So, who has just won his first game, 4 draws and a victory, very solid, but when he has the opportunity, he scores the full point as well. On 50% we have Topalov, Aronian, Vachier, and -1 for Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, has lost his last 2 games. He just blundered against Hikaru Nakamura, a very painful blunder, and also, well, the game against Fabiano was not like a one-move blunder, but still, it was very difficult to forget about it, it seems. He could not recover from that game. Very tiring, very long game, and in the end, he lost it. Then Vladimir Kramnik has only 3 out of 8, so he's going to be on 4 out of 10. Anish Gir will have 5 out of 10. And at the bottom, well, Hikaru, yeah, he still only has 3 points. I thought it was not counted, but yeah, he lost his first 3 games, drew in the 4th round, and has just beaten Magnus Carlsen. I think we are not happy for what happened. And let's just stick to this rook and game. We have just seen Lawrence Trent passing by with Fabiano Caruana. They are not happy at all, and we can understand it. Of course, Fabiano had a good position. He was trying to push, and maybe he pushed too much.
Yeah, such things happen. He got a little lucky in some other games, and now he had to return the favor, or maybe, I'm not sure if he missed the perpetual or decided against it. He is an amazing fighter, but of course that can lead to losses once in a while too. I'm not quite sure what Kramnik is hoping for in this game. I guess he's trying to get in some rook b5, rook takes h5 after, let's say, rook f2. So give a check here, king anywhere. Maybe not anywhere, maybe black actually has to go for this and activate, which should be a draw, but of course easier said than done, and forces Anish to calculate some variations. Because if you don't go for this rook b5, then there's just no progress to be made. Rook b3, whatever, rook a2 back, rook b5 now, king d4. Okay, it's similar actually. Well, black is always in time with his f-pawn to generate counterplay. So there's no serious winning hopes, but of course Kramnik is gonna exhaust every resource he has, and why wouldn't he? Being a pawn up, he's gonna try. Anish has played rook a1, not rook f2, just waiting.
Rook b5 check is on the board, king d4. As you mentioned, black is heading for the f-pawn.
Takes king e3, blitzed out by Anish. And yeah, there's zero problems here for black, because the white pawns, neither of them is particularly dangerous. White is going to have to keep an eye on the f4 pawn. So yeah, I expect this to end reasonably quickly and reasonably peacefully, whatever, something like this. What do you do? a5, rook a1, king anywhere, king anywhere.
King g4 is on the board.
I might have
Check.
managed to lose with white, but let's see what they actually do.
I think they are playing the same moves that you said.
No, Anish doesn't take
it
on
was,
f3.
yeah, he played first rook a1.
He wants to stop a5, and he's offering a move repetition after king g4.
Which might happen, because no, it's not going to happen. Rook h8,
h8,
and if rook takes a4,
then king g4, and you have to be careful all of a sudden.
he took on f3. That's
that's
a
a
more
better move.
important pawn. And now he either has to go rook a8, but then we can attack the other pawn.
It's a reasonably dead draw, and I
Just
think he's
king
gone rook
G3
b8.
or rook b8.
Yeah, just to give
Wow.
a check.
And grab the f-pawn. Rook takes a4, rook b3 check. King g2 is dead.
Yeah. It's high time to...
No, he doesn't want to make a draw. He pushed his pawn, and after f3,
No, he's not playing for a win. He has to make sure he doesn't lose this, and yeah, probably h6 or rook takes
he
f3,
can
hold the draw
always
here.
give up the rook for the pawn, and it's going to be a draw thanks to the h-pawn. Yeah,
And draw agreed, yeah.
they agreed. So this will... We have already mentioned the standings, but I think we can
Yeah, let's bring them up. A bunch of shocking results. Magnus Carlsen not doing very well, and he crowned his, for his standards, bad performance by
Yeah.
that blunder against Nakamura.
Neither Magnus nor Hikaru, the two stars of Paris Grand Chess Tour, are suffering here in Belgium. They are not in their best.
Yeah, both of them are suffering. And Vishy Anand, surprisingly, in the lead in his first appearance in the Grand Chess Tour 2016. Skipped the
The
Paris
oldest
event.
participant in the lead, followed by Caruana, and so the two American stars, the youngsters.
Yeah, the old guys, they know they better score their points on the first day, because on the fourth day we've seen what happened to Kramnik. But
For him,
of course, Vishy is going to be happy with himself. Fabiano still in shared second, but he's not going to be so pleased with this game he just lost. Wesley so very solid. Topalov up and down, but was having fun.
yeah, definitely having more fun than in Paris.
Levon MVL in the middle of the table. Magnus Carlsen as mentioned.
And
Anish,
minus
of
score.
course, on 5 out of 10 as well. Kramnik, bunch of blunders, some nice win against Nakamura, but not enough.
4
And
out of
Hikaru
10.
comeback.
And yeah, that's it. So this was it for today. Tomorrow the round will begin at the same time, so we will be here tomorrow from 2 o'clock Central European time for round 6 of the rapid event of Your Next Move Grand Chess Tour. And make sure you participate in the predictions game we have on Chess24, because you can grab a lot of prizes. So go to chess24.com, find the event Your Next Move Grand Chess Tour, and click on the predictions tab. Try to guess the final standings, not the standings after the rapid, the final overall standings of Your Next Move Grand Chess Tour by changing the order of the players. As you can see it on the left, you can grab them with the mouse and place it in an order you feel they will finish here in Leuven after 4 days of play.
Thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, and make sure you submit your predictions tomorrow before 2 o'clock, because then it's gonna be over. So tomorrow until 2 o'clock, you can participate in the predictions game on Chess24.